Hey everybody, how's it going? Today we are taking a look at Neuroshima Hex 3.0. In this game you're going to be taking up your army against your opponents, trying to wipe them out in a very tactical, very smart tile laying game, which has a lot of tactics, lots of strategy, and feels like a knife fight in a phone booth, if you know what I mean. Let me show you how the game works and give you a quick overview, and then I'll tell you what I think of it. Neuroshima Hex comes with a board. It comes with 4 armies, which each have a reference sheet here. As you can see, the Borgo, they each have a specific color as well. These guys, and here's green, the outpost, and these guys. Alright, and then each player, at the beginning of the game, you're going to set the board out, and you are going to pick an army each. In this case, I will set up a game for 2 here, and I'm going to give these guys the Moloch to these, and I'm going to put the outpost over here. And the other 2 will just go back in the box for now. Each army also, of course, comes with a stack of tiles, which are the units themselves and the actions you can take, and one of them is different. This one, the HQ, the green one right here. Besides that, the game comes with these life trackers, which are really neat. And these are a brand new thing in this version of the game 3.0. And you can choose to track your life on these instead of tracking it on the board if you'd like. So there's a life track right here and on the other side as well. But if you want to do this instead, then you can just do that. Besides that, the components include a deck of cards here, but I'll talk about this later because it's really not the same as what we're looking at right now. So, how does the game work? Very simply. Each player is going to take a token. They are going to put it on the 20, which is the maximum life of the HQ, and then we are going to be taking turns trying to annihilate the other player or players' HQ, and if we can get them all the way down to 0, then we win the game. During the first turn, what each player will do is simply put out the HQ, and the area we're playing in is this area in here inside of that thick white line. There's some tiles some spaces rather on the outside of that, but they are for variants and such, for playing with a larger group of players. So at the beginning I'll take this HQ here, and I can put it anywhere I want to, this player. And that would be my first turn. Then this player will do the same thing, and they will put their HQ anywhere they want to. From now on, each turn, the first few turns are a little weird, but the first turn this player will draw a single tile, and they may play it on the board, they may discard it, or they may save it. Let's take a closer look at this specific tile here. This one has a number 3, which is the speed at which this guy will attack, higher numbers being better. And it has a few melee attacks, which are these short little arrows. I'll show you what a distance attack looks like in a little bit. So this guy's going to take this tile, he's going to add it right here, right next to that HQ, so he can hit it. Now in this game, which is a very uncommon thing, and one of the things that makes the game very unique and interesting, you will not, every time you play a unit, there will not be an attack. There will not even be an attack at the end of every turn. There will only be an attack when someone plays a tile that triggers an attack. So the rhythm of the game is very interesting because there will be a lot of build up and build up and build up, and then finally this massive crashing wave of battle. And at the end there will be, everybody on the board will be wiped out, and it's just a massacre. So once that's done and that player has played their tile there, then it's the other player's turn. They will draw 2. So this person drew 1, this player will draw 2. They can again use both. In this case they have one person here which is speed 3 and also with a distance fire. This is a distance, that one was a melee, so this is what the long ranged fire looks like. What that means is that they don't have to be right next to the HQ, so they could go here and they could fire and hit this HQ without being right next to it. Okay? And then the other tile is the other kind of tile that comes in the armies. There's 2 kinds. There's the board tiles, these units, and then there's these which are action tiles. And action tiles come in a few different flavors. In this case, I'll show you the board here for this player. This one is a move tile, which says that you can discard that and move a unit on the board. Typically the units on the board don't really move. There's also the battle tiles, which I just talked about. That's the only way you trigger a fight. And then this one happens to have one special, which is a sniper tile, which lets you, snipe someone, take someone out. So, this person will take a look at both of these. They are going to play this one here, let's say, and they are going to use this one to move their HQ out of the way. So they're going to go whoop. Once you use one of those move tiles, you can move and then rotate freely. Once that's done, then it's back to the red players, and from now on, every player will have the same kind of move. You're going to draw 3 tiles. You have to discard one of them, and then you can use the other 2. Alright, so we'll continue doing this. In this case, they have someone here who is slow, but has a shield, which means they take 2 hits to kill. They also have a special shot there. And then this one also has a shield. It's a tough guy, takes 2 hits to kill, and fires at speed 2 and at speed 1. Alright, and then this one is a medic, which means it can take a hit for someone else as long as it's connected to it. This is what they call a module. And there's a few of those in each army. Alright, so let me go ahead and jump forward here in time in the game, and I'll show you what a battle looks like. Alright, so it's much later in our game here, and at this point it's green's turn. They were going to draw 3 tiles, and they would flip them over. And they have the snipe tile here, which lets them give a 1 hit to anything. They have the battle, and they have a soldier here. So they can choose which 2 they're going to keep. In this case, they are going to, let's say, get rid of this one. So they'll get rid of that, and then out of these 2, they can use them, save them again, as I said. Let's say they're going to use this one first, and they are going to snipe something on the board. Normally, everything takes 1 hit to kill, unless it has a shield, at which point it takes 1 more per shield. So in this case, as we can see here, let me show you a little closer. You can see that the battle we have here, this guy who would hit the HQ of the red player is being netted by this character right here. And this character, as you can see, it's like a little robot type deal, and it has 2 nets there. There you go. And so, since this guy is netted, he would not do anything. He would not fire at all. So this player is going to use the snipe to shoot him. He's gone. This comes off. And now they are going to trigger a fight. The first thing we do when a fight is triggered, we look for who is the fastest player on the board, the fastest unit. In this case, 3 would be the fastest thing. We also have some wound tokens that we're going to use to track wounds as they happen, which look like that. And now we will deal with everybody resolving. And again, if anything that is at 3 happens simultaneously. So this one does 2 hits on the HQ, so we're going to go ahead and take 2 of these and put them there. This guy here shoots at 3, hits the HQ as well. And this guy here does melee in several different areas and hits this one here at speed 3. And so now everything resolves. So the HQ took 3 hits here. So we're going to go ahead and track that on the score track here. So 3. Or again, if you don't like that, you can always use these. And you can just go to 17 on there. Now this guy also took a hit and normally would die, but he is right next to a medic that is plugged into it. And so the medic will take the hit for it instead. So this one's not dead. Now speed 2 happens. At speed 2, this guy over here will fire. There's no friendly fire in this game, so he'll shoot through and hit the HQ. This one shoots that way, and this one shoots that way, so they'll actually take each other out. And then this one shoots this way, nothing, that way the HQ. So there we go. Alright, and now everything is dealt. So 1 more on the HQ there, and 1 on the other HQ, and both of these guys are gone. Now speed 1. Well, this guy fires at speed 2, but he fires again at speed 1, so he'll put another hit on this HQ. That's it for speed 1. And then speed 0, the HQs themselves fire off at speed 0, as you can see. And they fire in every direction. They have a melee attack all the way around. And so this HQ will hit him and take it out. And this HQ will hit this one and take it out. So these are our scores right now. And now it would be the red player's turn, as the green player just went. The last thing I'm going to talk about here is these cards I mentioned earlier, which have nothing to do with this game necessarily, but they're basically solitaire puzzles in which you can just grab this deck of cards and play some simple puzzles by yourself. So it's a bonus feature in the game. There's 55 of these, and all you need to do is basically look at the setup on the card. They give you specific tiles and they tell you here what you need to do, how many of these you can use, and what you need to beat. And so you just play in your head. You just basically say, well, I think I would put that one there, I would put this here, facing this way, whatever you need to do. And then on the back of it are the solutions. So very interesting, a neat little, just a little bonus basically in the box, but a nice distraction, a neat little idea. And it can help you definitely get better at the game by doing the puzzles. As you can see there, Neuroshima Hex is very much about timing and about strategic placement, about spatial awareness, understanding what fires first, what fires second, where you can be to attack the enemy before they get to hit you, how to distract your opponent, that sort of thing. The game is loaded with tactics and strategy. Each army feels very different in the box. There are all four really are very unique, and some have a lot of movement, some are full of tanks, so really big heavy guys, but they're slower. Some have some great guerrilla tactics where they can jump in quick and hit and then move. It's for how abstract the game really basically is, the theme comes through very well, I think. And so it's really interesting because it gives you both a great theme, the Neuroshima Hex theme, which is based on a Polish role-playing game, but it also gives you a great, clean play style, which has basically no die rolling, has no randomness necessarily, except the tiles you draw, and you're gonna draw them all. So yeah, there can be randomness there, but it's very interesting the way you have to adapt to that. I think overall the game has a great balance between those two things. So if you love theme in your games, you could like this quite a bit. If you love the mechanisms, Euro-style games, for lack of a better term, in your games, you could very much like this as well. And I'm a huge fan of it. It's one of my favorite games, bar none, absolutely in my top 5 games of all time. And this version does a couple of things that the old version didn't do. One, it includes those solitaire puzzles, which are not a necessity. They don't tie to the game at all, really, but they're great as a distraction, a little diversion on the side, and they do help you learn the game a little better and even teach the game to someone if you run them through the rules and then give them the easy ones and go, here, try it out. I think they'll get a better understanding of how the game goes. So those are useful and they're neat. Besides that, the game tile design is different now. Whereas the artwork on each tile is bigger, there are no borders on it, so it goes all the way to the edge. Some of the iconography is a little cleaner. So there's improvements here that were made from 2.0, which already had improvements from the very first printing. As you can see, the board now gives you an extra ring of tiles, of spaces for the hexes, so you can play with more than 4 players if you wanted to. Because, there's a lot of expansions for the game. So you could buy one of those and do something crazy like that. I do think the game is best at 2, and it's very good at 3, especially with that new variant I mentioned. I think it's great with that. I love the idea of 2 versus 1. It just works really well. The old 3-player way of playing could put you in sticky situations, but this new way to play is excellent. Very streamlined, works really well. So, I really have nothing bad to say about this version. Love everything in it. Those scoring discs that they give you, I'm going to be using those in other games. Those are great. They're completely unnecessary, really, but the fact that they're included, love it. I am going to just use those for anything that needs me to track 20 points of anything. So, I think this is a very, very high recommendation from me. I absolutely adore this game. You should check it out if you've not looked into it, because I think it's a good chance you're going to like it as well. So check out Neuroshima Hex, and thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.